Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So this past week, I took Lord Knightmon War Greymon, a deck that you really don't see this version played hardly ever, and I went into the event. I just wanted to test, see how it did. Was not holding out good hopes for it at all, and as the title said, I went completely undefeated. We went against, Imperial Dramon. We took down Imperial Dramon. We took down, in the finals, we went against Lord Knightmon Mastemon, with the Zwarts and everything, the Zwart defeats. I mean, the whole shebang. And like just game after game. We even went against Green and still took down Green. I mean, it felt really incredible at just how well this deck performs. So I figured, you know what, since the deck did as well as it did against very high level decks, I thought I'd go ahead and show you guys what I played. Also, don't forget this month's memory marker is Tanamon. So if you're playing green in this format, definitely a great memory marker for you. Something a little more unique than everyone else has. These are handmade out of clay by my wife. She does all the work, so most of the money goes back to her. But either way, they're still really, really neat, and I loved being able to support her. So check them out for August Patreon rewards. So we're going to go through these cards, a few of them fairly quickly. You've seen a lot of these cards before in a lot of Lord Knightmon decks. A lot of it isn't too unique, but some of it is. And then I also want to give a couple like variations of cards that I'd probably play instead. First up, we've got Pikmon and as our main egg, and then Koromon as our backup. And honestly, I almost kind of wanted to reverse these a little bit, or even like 3 Pikmons, 2 Koromons, just because it felt a lot easier to get the Koromons on live, and whereas the Koromon can be live at the same time as the Lord Knightmon, but the Pikmon, it was a little difficult, honestly. For whatever reason, it felt really difficult to get Pikmon online, whereas I can make Koromon live relatively easy. I mean, even with just Blinding Ray, that, and then the War Greymon also, just being able to reduce my security down. I felt like I wanted Koromon more than I wanted Pikmon most of the games that I played. Now, that could just be personal, like, wow, I don't know what happened, but that's just kind of how it played out to be like that. So, it is what it is. Next up, we got the Starmons. Starmons is incredible for BT5, especially if you can play multiple of these in one turn. Really, really nice. Next, we got the Pulsemon here. It's a staple in Lord Knightmon. It's expensive though. It is stupid expensive. All right, next we got the Bushi Agumon. I have bumped in this format Bushi Agumon up to 4. I have seen the error of my ways playing it at 2 and 3 copies, and 4 of is a must. I love it at 4. You can play it for free so many different ways in these yellow decks. Multiple different decks formats to play. Mastemon can run it pretty well. War Greymon with Angelmon can play it pretty well, and then of course Lord Knightmon as well. Just being able to play this for free constantly is just so much value. You just win so many games. I've won more games in yellow playing in both BT4 and BT5 singly with Bushi Agumon stealing the game at the end multiple different ways. And then next we've got the Kotemon. Honestly, Kotemon felt super weak. On play, reveal 5 cards from the top of your deck, add 2 yellow Digimon cards with Warrior and or Holy Warrior in their types. That is only Lord Knightmon and Knightmon itself as your targets. And sometimes I didn't even necessarily even need those. I would have the Lord Knightmons in hand already. It's like you can't go through a whole bunch of copies of Lord Knightmon. You can maybe go through 1, 2. Very rarely will you go into 3 Lord Knightmon in one game. So it's like once I got them in hand, I was fine. I didn't really need the search for that Kotemon provided. So honestly, I never was in a situation where I was like desperate I need to play this Kotemon to dig for a Knightmon or a Lord Knightmon. It was usually my just Digivolve target, and I could save my on-play Digimon for hard playing, or playing them through abilities. And Kotemon is a definite cut for me. I don't like it. I mean, I even tried dropping it down to a 2 of so I could see it less, so I could only play it whenever I really desperately needed it, and I never desperately needed it. Like, I have enough draw power in this deck for, low evolutions and things like that, that just wasn't enough. And, often, I didn't want to play it because I didn't want to risk skipping something else that I really wanted. Like what if I really wanted a Bushi? I can't grab a Bushi Agumon with this, or whatever, Blinding Ray, anything. I just would rather draw into this stuff than risk skipping over it. So instead, I think Salamon, bringing it back to Salamon, particularly in War Greymon. War Greymon is all about hurting yourself. So I think for my 2 of rookies in this deck, because we've got 12 with the other 3, I think Salamon is a good 2 of to replace the Kotemon. Just get that recovery. I mean, that's really all it is to it. You're constantly bringing yourself down to 3 security super easily in this deck, and it's not bad to play a free Salamon, next turn crash the Salamon, or your opponent deletes it, whatever. So bring yourself down to 3, 1 turn, and you go to use the next turn, the follow-up, again with your War Greymon. You're going to bring yourself down to 2, but then you can just crash the Salamon to bring yourself right back up to 3. Keep all your 3 play cost stuff, or your on effects like Pulsemon. Just keep all those effects live with the Salamon. So I think in War Greymon specifically, I'm going to go back to the Salamons for my 2 of right here. Next up, we got Pitomon, 1 evolution cost blocker. We love these guys for sure. A 1 cost Evos for level 4s in general. Half the time it's just a 1 cost Evo blocker, really. Same with Trumon. The reason we're playing it is just the 1 cost Evo. 6,000 DP dodges stuff like Nidhoggmon, if you have to worry about that. I still see plenty of OTK greens running Nidhoggmon, so definitely 6,000 DP definitely makes sense. Also, it's just really difficult for yellow to clear, as after I've been playing a lot of Lord Knightmon, I really see the value in 6k, just because it's hard to finish off. And speaking of 6k, we've got the Unimon in here as our other blocker. This is kind of a flex spot on kind of just what you want to run in the deck. I ran Gladiamon initially, and I hated Gladiamon. The only time I ever really liked to run the Gladiamon is when I was also running the Kotemon, just because it gave Kotemon a few more targets, the level 4, the level 5, and the level 6 to be able to search off the Kotemon. But without that, even more of a reason that I didn't like Kotemon. But Unimon, that 6,000 DP is just really, really solid. It's hard for yellow to get over. They can't they can't swing with a Lord Knightmon, play Knightmon minus 4,000, and then use like their egg to minus another 1,000. That's still not quite enough to kill these guys. The 6,000 DPs are just really, really solid. They really are. If you plan on just sticking them and leaving them, I still like the 1 cost Evos just because they're just mostly just stair-step targets that just happen to also be blockers in case of emergencies. But if I need a real blocker, Unimon is where I go for that. Next up, we've got Knightmon. We've kind of already said why Knightmon's good. You get to play this off of the Lord Knightmon for free. We all know this. Minus 4,000. Same kind of similar to War Greymon. You're doing that minus 4,000. But it's nice to be able to swing with my level 6, hard play a Knightmon, and just the fact that I just got to play a level 5 for free to go right on top of with another level 6, that's almost better than just the minus 4,000. The minus 4,000 is cool, don't get me wrong. I've done some good, really nice stuff with the Knightmons. But yeah, just being able to hard play a level 5 for free is just amazing. So we definitely max out on this. Every Lord Knightmon deck absolutely will. Next, I've only got the 2 War Groundmons you see here because we're also playing the Angelmons. The Angelmons are really good when in tandem with War Groundmon decks. If you're not playing War Groundmon, I don't think that Angelmon is a really good level 5 to add into the deck, just because it's really difficult to hurt yourself unless you're playing someone that's really aggro or doesn't know yellow very well. They're not going to put you in that 3 security state. They're going to get you down to 4 and then just kind of leave you there, or even 5, so that way you can't Blinding Ray to lower yourself. So just kind of keep that in mind, that Angelmon's really, really good if you're playing War Greymon specifically. But War Groundmon, though, is still great because you can promote this guy up, Digiburst 2 to minus 4,000, go into a Lord Knightmon, swing, and then play a Knightmon, that's another minus 4,000. That's every level 5. I mean, every level 5 minus 8,000 is gone, okay? So these guys work really, really, really nicely in tandem. So, like, War Groundmon is one of my favorite yellow megas for sure, just because he's a little more universal than Knightmon is, because without playing Knightmon for free, that minus 4,000 DP on, for a 7 cost is a little steep. you know, I wouldn't normally just hard play this just for 4,000. Very, very, very rarely would I do that. Angelomon, kind of just the bread and, I wouldn't say the bread and butter, but just a really nice include in this particular variant of Lord Knightmon with the Wargreymons. Also, the when Digivolving effect, you know, isn't too bad here. One of your opponent's Digimon gets -2 security attack. If you're going against something such as not necessarily green OTK, because they're going to keep their stuff protected in raising area, but something like Imperialdramon, if you can get this effect off on a Paildramon the turn before they go into an Imperialdramon, that shuts their whole turn off. So just minus that security attack, and you're off to the races there against Imperialdramon. So really, really digging the Angelomon in this variant. Next up, we got Lord Knightmon itself. I mean, we've gone over this like 100 times. It's great. It gets the boost for its DP on both turns, so it's really hard to kill for the opponent. Phenomenal card. Getting to play any level 3 yellow Digimon or any of your warriors here. So Knightmon is our other target here. You're not going to be playing the Gladiamon more than likely. It's just I don't think it's that great. Mainly because you're going to be running TKs here. So TK is your memory fixer. Grab anything, any yellow, rule anything out of security. If it's yellow, you get that recovery. Everything that we're playing here is yellow, so TK is really nice for that. And that playing TK basically makes the need for Gladiamon null and void. You don't need Gladiamon anymore if you're running the TKs. And Memory Fixers is really a must. Alright, next is Wargreymon. So most people here have probably been through BT4. You saw how good Wargreymon was. So I wanted to really focus on the aggro potential of this build. It wasn't about control, okay? Now, Wargreymon is nice because it gets that -6,000 DP, which does matter a little bit. I mean, you combine him with the Wargreymon here, that's -10,000, or just minusing 6,000 on anything big and then just running it over. Anything you -6,000 on that's suspended, Wargreymon is gonna run it over, which is kind of why I went with the Wargreymon over the Slash Angemon. Slash is really good because I can immediately kill any level 5. Okay, no questions, nothing. There's a level 5 out there. I'm worried about it going into like a Lord Knightmon the next turn, or I'm worried about it going into a Lilithmon the next turn. You know, Slash just cuts it down right there. End of story. Whereas Wargreymon, you know, that 6,000 is a little more limited. It is nice because it gets around blockers, so he can at least help with, if you're just going for that aggro focus, he'll kill a blocker so you can keep swinging. So swing twice with Wargreymon. You trigger Angelomon twice here. My favorite combo, I've said it 100 times. Blinding Ray, going from 1 to 3, right? Taking yourself down to 4 memory. Digivolving into Wargreymon, taking yourself to 0, right? Swing with the Wargreymon, unsuspend with his ability. Now you're at 3, and now you're off to the races. You know, you can use your Angelomon twice now, essentially, because you can pick the order that abilities trigger. So really, really nasty combo. I mean, you're getting to play, you know, your Bushis for free. Playing 2 Bushis. I won one game literally because I went double Bushi because I got 2 swings with my Wargreymon and won the game that way. Starmons to help you kill stuff, you know, -6,000 on something. Drop a Starmon to minus, you know, another 2, 3, 4,000. Great combo. Pulsemon, playing a Pulsemon for free to bring your memory back up or to draw. Your on-play effects are bananas, which is one of the reasons like Kotemon just felt really lackluster because I wanted to play one of these other 3. You know, I'm running 12 copies of all these other options of rookies that I'd rather play off of Angelomon than ever want to play the Kotemon. So just kind of keep that in mind for your targets of what you want to play. So that it was super very aggressive. I've seen like people, other digitubers, you know, like Mario, he built his Mastemon all about bringing Bushi Agumon onto field to wreck, okay? And I went with the Lord Knight and Wargreymon with that kind of that same concept of I really want to bring out Bushi. If I can bring out 2 Bushis in one turn, that's even cooler. Memory fixers, you gotta have a memory fixer, and TK is definitely our go-to for this, just to be able to grab the exact card that you need to get out of a sticky situation. I've definitely had my fair share of no opening rookies and playing a TK to grab a rookie out of security. It happens, okay? Next, I've got the Lucymon. we hard play a lot of rookies in this build. Okay, we play them all from hand, so having tons of rookie targets is pretty essential. So I really like the Lucymon. Again, Lucymon really, I felt like, shines in this version of the deck because, again, just like the Salamon, you hurt yourself a ton in this deck through the Blinding Rays and the Wargreymon. Both, you get yourself in a very precarious situation very quickly. So being able to play the Lucys to counterbalance that off of the free Angelmon plays, really, really solid. Is Lucymon necessarily a go-to for other Lord Knightmon builds? Maybe, maybe not. Slash, probably not. Mastamon, you can kind of argue that Lucy is still viable just because Mastamon hurts you, as well as Mastamon can bring back Lucy. So, you do get multiple types of value out of Lucy and Mastamon at least. Really essential for Wargreymon, though. Next, I went with the Spiral Masquerade. I'm kind of liking Spiral Masquerade as my 2 of over Valderarm. Valderarm can take out one really big thing or 2 decent things, but Spiral Masquerade 1 works really nicely in tandem with the fact that we play so many cards, right? We just summon all these rookies out through multiple different ways, so our board can get pretty wide, and Spiral Masquerade really likes when you go wide. And so if I'm playing a build where I'm summoning a whole bunch of stuff, then Spiral Masquerade is the way to go. If I'm going with a slash build, I absolutely want Valderarm, because Valderarm right on top of the slash is detrimental. So, but Spiral Masquerade in these variants is solid. You could argue dropping this for Valderarm since both of our megas are yellow. In Mastamon, I don't play Valderarm at all, just because I can't go on top of Mastamon with a Valderarm. So Spiral Masquerade in that build as well. But both of those, Lord Knightmon and Mastamon, bring more onto the field. Like their whole shtick is that they, summon other things to the field. Wargreymon with a little bit of setup can also bring stuff back. So Spiral Masquerade for that. You can either kill a whole bunch of little things, or you can add it all up and kill one big thing. And it's only a 4 play cost, which, that's 2 less than a Valderarm is. Which, there's argument there, Valderarm dies, you get 3 memory, but the Spiral Masquerade, it doesn't mess with my flow, right? I don't lose my megas that are so powerful. Valderarm, you get your Wind Digivolving effect, and that's about it. After that, you just got a big beat stick that your opponent can just kind of play around. They don't even have to kill it. It's checking 1 security every turn, so not a big deal. Or they can just block it casually. You're going to lose their blocker, but, it's not too bad. But keeping your megas here, like Lord Knight, to turn after turn, just getting to play stuff for free. Wargreymon, turn after turn, being able to do minus 6,000 on something, as well as getting 2 swings in. Both of these guys have, are really important to keep on field. I don't want to Digivolve over them with a Valderarm. Slash, different story. So Spiral Masquerade, I'm really digging Spiral Masquerade over the Valderarm in most of the Lord Knightmon builds, just because of that reason. I don't want to lose my megas. I think they're way more valuable than a Valderarm is. Valderarm's good for 1 shot, and then he's kind of done. Whereas Spiral Masquerade, again, is good for 1 shot, but afterwards I don't lose my my mega, so it's a little bit different. So there's argument for Spiral Masquerade over Valder. And that's going to do it for the deck profile. So just those few changes that I talked about. But, this is what I played. This is what it worked well. Just a few minor tweaks to it that I talked about. And I really think the deck is really satisfying. And I could definitely see myself playing it again. I will say, though, playing it was terrifying. Hurting myself constantly in this format was really stressful. I mean, it's almost like playing Megazoo and giving your opponent 10 memory, and then they don't immediately somehow not kill you. It felt a lot like that. So kind of a little risk-reward situation here. Mastamon also hurts you, but at least at the same time it hurts your opponent. So that's a nice trade-off with the Mastamon. But still a very, very, potentially really dominating deck. I still enjoyed playing it a lot. I will continue trying different variations of Lord Knightmon and picking which one I want to play though for the next regional. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you would, please like the video and subscribe. Just a little bit of help goes a super long ways. It helps the channel out tremendously, gets my videos out there, gets them seen. And if you really want to support the channel, check out the links in the description below. I'll have a link for my Patreon, which is displayed right here. You can get access to my Discord server that I have, as well as you can get the memory markers that we've had. These are just a few of my favorites from the past that we've had. The current one, Impmon's baby, as well as Gabumon's baby as well, Sunomon and Yamon. These guys are super adorable. I definitely love them so much. And every month a new one changes out, so make sure you check that out. As well as we have our new playmats. This is why I recreated this video. It's because our playmats are here finally, and they are super cool. I alternate between the black and white every single month for whoever wants to support this tier, as well as I have a tier just higher than that, so that way you don't also have to lose out on a memory marker. You can get both the memory marker and the playmat just in case you want both. Super awesome support from everyone that has supported in the past and who will support in the future. You guys are awesome. Also, if you want to check out my merch, my Teespring link is in the description below for that. We've got, you know, the shirts that I wear on the channel that has the logo across. I love when I see people representing my merch in public. It is like one of the coolest feelings I've ever had in my entire life. Very awesome. As well as phone cases for you people that love Digimon like so much like I do. A friend of mine custom made all these to fit these specific phone cases themselves, so the prices are a little bit higher just because I have to pay her back, as well as make a little tiny bit of profit because of how much unfortunately they take for their cut for Teespring. But like I said, if you can't do any of that, please just like the video and subscribe to the channel. Every time we hit a new mile marker for subscriptions, I give out free merch of all different types. 2000K, I think we're doing one of the playmat giveaways, so definitely be subscribed and ready for when that comes.